Okay, so we are back in the shop, and today I have a task that I'd like to get done. It's not for the 44 project, it is for another project, but nevertheless, I wanted to tackle this because it's a rainy day, number one. The house is cold, number two, and I really need to up my skills on this anyway, so I thought I would take it upon myself to do a little tutorial because I've learned a few things along the way preparing for a tutorial. Okay, so that out of the way. Yes, we are soldering today, but we are soldering big boy stuff. Okay, so big boy stuff. That means we're not going with our standard 3-cell plain 4, 6. Yeah, we're going 12 cells on this plane. So that means I need to create a harness that puts all of those packs together to go into an ESC, and I need to do it in a safe way that shouldn't melt down the house. All right, let's work with some hardware. All right, so first and foremost, you'll notice that the bench has been cleaned up, and that's thanks to additional shelf with a whole bunch of stuff on it and more space to fill up. All right, so what we're working with here is we've got some 8-gauge wire and some 6-gauge wire. We've got some heat shrink and some terminals that I won't be using, but we've also got XT90s as well as QS8. So we have QS8. So this is going to be my main connector between the ESC and the battery pack. And the reason for this is because it can handle all the current. The current is the key, not voltage, it's current. And this has an anti-spark. And that's a safety thing too, especially because we're dealing with stuff that can pretty much destroy you. And we're going with all the usual suspects of tools. We've got some wire strippers, got some needle nose here. This is just for, I'm just using this to cut the insulation, the shrink tube insulation. But yeah, we're going with wire. And essentially what we need to do is, I'm going to start with making another one of these, this thing. Okay, so not with that, but we're going to make this thing. And as you can see, I've already got 3 of them and we need to make a 4th. So I'm going to walk you through it. We've got all of our usual suspects, XT90s, but we're not going to be using these fancy covers because it will not fit with the wire insulation. So that's why we're going with the heat shrink tubing. A set of helping hands, even a set of pliers with a rubber band around the handle will work with this. But short of that, we're working with a high quality solder as well as rosin flux, specifically for electrical work, not plumbing. You do not want the plumbing stuff. It's different, okay? My soldering iron, I am using this guy that I got off of Amazon a while ago. It's really nice. It goes up to 900 degrees, and I don't even know if it's still available, but you need that and some brass wool for cleaning the tip. Clean tip is always the best tip, and I am using a chisel tip. Reason for a chisel tip is because it helps to transfer the heat a little bit better. More surface area. Makes sense. All right, so now we've got all the hardware in place. I'm going to put you guys on a tripod and position you so that you can try to see some of what's going on, and we'll go from there. All right, so I've got my iron on. At this point, it's heating up. So I am just going to use my wire strippers, and I'm rotating while I crimp or cut, I guess, because I don't have one that will cut insulation this thick, but that's sufficient. You know, you got to be a little bit careful with these bigger wires because there is a little plastic film between the main insulation and the wires themselves. So you got to make sure you get that plastic off. Otherwise, nothing will stick. See? See? That little bit of clear plastic. If you don't have that, you're lucky. But make sure that that's gone. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem. can have a contamination in your solder joint. I'm going to do that with the black one too, just so that it's ready. So now that I've got these prepped, I'm going to prep this. So I'm soldering this part. So we'll start with the negative just because it's up. Doesn't have to be, but it's convenient. Oh, that's what I was going to show you. So not always are these straight. You can see this one is not straight very well, especially this one. And you can actually turn these guys so that they're more cup shaped for how you're going to do it. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. So that's facing up. Take our negative wire. I'm going to roll it in our rosin flux. And then I'm going to roll it into my joint. Now, I was advised to tin both of these, like tin the cup and then tin the stem and then try to join them. I have found that the more I did that, the more I got frustrated. So I am just going to directly apply the heat. And I apply a little bit of solder to increase the surface area of my heat and let it heat the joint. And then I just keep adding a little bit at a time until it starts to accept more. All right, so now it's hot enough that it's soaking in. And so I just feed in a little bit at a time. Let it continue to heat up as the solder flows because there's so much space. There, it's soaked in more. Feed in a little bit more. And you just do that incrementally until it won't take any more. All right, we're done. Now, the reason that I did this with the other side is so that the other side acts as a heat sink to help spread the load out. Otherwise, the plastic could melt because of all of that time. So now we're going to flip it over. Ooh, toasty. And I'm going to reposition you to help you get a different angle and hopefully better angle. And I'll do this again for you. All right. Try to let you guys actually see what I'm doing here. Okay. So I've got plenty of flux here. Now I'm just going to feed a little bit in. There, did you see that? See how it just sunk? And we're done. All right, so I like to wipe up a little bit of the excess flux that's on these wires. All right, so with the heat gun, we've got all of this done, and you just work it. You shrink a little bit around the edge, and then you can push it up a little bit, and then you can make it pretty around there. You can pull that out once it cools off enough, and there you go. We're all set. That's 4. Okay, so we're gonna try the same thing again, only this time with much thicker wire. This is 6 gauge, and we're gonna go with the QS8 connector. You can see I've already got the negative on there, and we're gonna go with the positive, and I wanna show you this just because it is much more difficult. It takes so much more heat and so much more solder to get this in there, and we're gonna do the best that we can. It does take patience. But again, this is my soldering iron cranked up all the way, as high as it will possibly go. And we're just going to go for it. Okay, make sure you have a nice clean tip. Notice how I'm having to use the entire side of the iron chisel just to get enough surface area to get heat into this joint. Okay, there's plenty of heat in here. I'm going to take it off and do an inspection. I don't think it's quite ready. Yeah, looking in the back down in here, no. We need more. It's sinking in slowly. See how much drier it is? Not quite as big of a puddle. There we go. See, it just sunk right in there. Now keep feeding. All right, and I think that will do. 4 minutes to do that one. See how there's definitely more penetration around there? That's much, much better. I'm gonna dry this up. Still very, very hot. Even through the silicone, still very, 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 very hot. Okay, so at this point, I have not burned myself yet. All right, so we now have 4 XT90 connectors, okay? And then we have our QS8 connector, which is still cooling off. I can at least hold it now. That's progress. Okay, so next what we have to do is we have to create the parallel, and we're also simultaneously going to create the series, sort of. Let me get it all wrapped up and I'll get it ready to do the solder joint, and then I'll come back, okay? Just because it'll be much more easy to explain. So this is what I'm trying to show you. I'm going to try to do this cleanly this time. So I've done 1 and 2. You can't see it here, but there are 2 joints that I've done like this. So you essentially have these 2 wires and then the third thick wire, and then you take some additional wire and wrap it around to make it tight, okay? So that's what we're looking at. We've got a big blob of flux on top. I've got a little bit of solder left over. I've got a fresh roll here. And so we're just gonna get into this. And I'm gonna use this little pen torch and we're gonna go at it. First, we're gonna try to just melt this on, slowly heat this up so that it soaks in. And we're dripping a little bit, but that's okay. Now the thing about the flux is that it can blow out your flame. So that's why you keep a light handy. So I'm just going across the top here as we warm up the top, and that way it can hold additional heat as it soaks in. All right, so you're zoomed in a little bit more. We're gonna try to go at this a little bit better. I'm gonna come from this other side. Notice how I'm pausing to unroll and still heating because there's so much heat that has to go into this joint. It's crazy. And now I'm going to try heating from the bottom. Okay, so I'm starting to see flux move into the ends. So that's where I'm going to stop. So you can see the solder going outward. And so we know we've got good penetration, that the flux is making it go out. So we're done. We're going to pull this off. We're going to wipe things off. So I'm spreading apart my shrink tube because it is warm and I don't want it to shrink just yet. All right, let me hit this with the heat gun. I'll be right back. And that is that. So essentially now what I'm trying to do is I've got my 4 battery connectors here, right? And then here's my series connector. And so I have one more connection to make. I'll come back when it's done. And all right, thanks to the magic of YouTube, I have something finished. All right, let's walk through it. And here we are. Okay, it's a bunch of wires. Okay, so we have our QS8 connector with our 6 gauge wire directly coupled to our 8 gauge wire in parallel, and there is a 6 gauge loop for the parallels here. All right, so we have all of our high current stuff using the 6 gauge and our parallel current using 8 gauge. So this should be able to handle the current that I'm looking for, 200-300 amps, and I'm pretty happy with that. Now I want to make sure that I let you guys know I did go through and put a second coat of insulation. I'm using the fabric electrical insulation tape on top of the shrink wrap because that's a lot of current, and sometimes shrink wrap gets nicks, and these are really heavy, and it's going to be essentially shoehorned into a bay that holds the batteries. So I want to protect that. I may go ahead and do another layer of the vinyl and then another layer of the fabric over top, just to be sure. Okay, you guys know how I am. I love to play it safe, and I don't really mess around when it comes to safety. So yeah, it's a learning journey, and yeah, I want to be safe. But nevertheless, glad you guys could stop by today and see how to do this. It's a lot of heat. It's a lot of heat, and you just got to be careful and take your time and be patient. Lots of flux, lots of heat, and just have fun with it. Honestly. So I did plug in 2 batteries, verify voltage through a voltmeter. You guys know how to do that, positive, negative. This is not rocket surgery, so just plug things in, and if there are sparkles, that means you did something wrong. I would recommend that you use lower cell counts to test. Okay? All disclaimers aside, okay. Thanks so much again for stopping by the shop. Use the code Josh10 at dubro.com and save yourself 10% at checkout, and continue electrifying your flying works of art.